Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Amina. Welcome to my channel, Mina Reads, and today I'm going to be reading Priest Romance. I have been watching Fleabag, and there's this character, the hot priest, played by Andrew Scott, who I don't think is sexy at all. But there's this one scene, like, maybe the internet was really on to something with this whole hot priest thing. So I decided, since I don't necessarily find Andrew Scott hot, I will find another priest to be hot, and I will see if I can understand the hot priest phenomenon. So yeah, that's what we're doing in this video. Week 52 million of quarantine. I want to get out of the house so bad. I have been binging a bunch of K-dramas on Netflix, so like reading really took a backseat. But I just finished Itaewon Class, and that show's amazing. You guys should watch that show, and if you have watched that show, you should talk to me about it. So anyway, I finally started reading Priest by Simone, and girl, I mean, I have some things to say. So first of all, I'm already liking it. I like it more than I kind of thought I would. I really like the priest, Tyler. So it seems like it's mostly going to be from his point of view, which I'm excited about, because the brief snippets we got of the girl Poppy's point of view, I didn't like it. But it's basically about this priest named Tyler. This woman comes in for confession. He's just automatically like drawn to her. He thinks that her voice is like super sexy, and then he sees her and he thinks that she's super hot. So it's all about him like trying to resist the temptation of this new parishioner at his church. Just really like Tyler. I think that he seems really interesting, and I like his perspective on religion. You know, even though he's a priest, like when the girl approaches him and she's kind of talking to him about how she's trying to start a new chapter in her life and all this other stuff, she kind of approaches him like, well, maybe, you know, religion will be the answer that I'm looking for. And he basically says to her, like, you know, just because we'll talk about religion and everything, if spirituality isn't for you, then like there's no hard feelings. I just felt like that was like a really nice moment. I really enjoyed it. He just seems like he has a really nuanced view on like religion and spirituality, which I appreciate, and I definitely didn't expect from this story at all. But Tyler himself, I think he's funny. He's incredibly horny. I mean, we all guessed it. The whole point of this book is that he is like a repressed priest and the girl is super hot and sexy. So he's super horny. I think his descriptions of like how pretty she is and his reactions to her are amusing so far. I think I'm only like 10% in. Also, they just met up when he was jogging. Like, he was listening to Britney Spears and like running, and I just love him. But something really weird did just happen. I feel like we should just discuss it just a little bit. So Tyler, he goes to hang out with his family, and they're having like, you know, family banter. They're talking about some stuff, and then he has all these brothers, and so his brothers are talking about like going to this strip club or whatever. And so they're talking about that, and then they're like, yeah, but you know, Tyler's not gonna go because he's Mr. Celibacy or whatever. And so then they're having this conversation. One brother is taunting him. Then Tyler's like,
yeah, well, are you gonna help me out with that?
and then his brother is like,
name the time and place, sugar.
What's going on? Y'all are going to jail! Period!
and I'm like, who the fuck jokes with their brother like that? I hope that people aren't typically joking with their family members like that. That really does concern me. It's getting weird. First of all, I don't like the girl. Her name is Poppy, and I don't like her. She's just like a rich girl stereotype, and I literally couldn't give less of a fuck about her issues or her struggles or whatever. I don't care. I couldn't care less. Just don't understand why the author wants me to believe that her life is so hard, or that anything that she talks about is like a real struggle. She's like, oh, I grew up in a rich family, and like they wanted good things for me. Like they wanted me to go to a good college, and she went to a good college. Like she graduated. She has a master's from like Dartmouth or something, and she's talking about how like she had all this privilege, and she used to get all these good jobs and stuff. And she was like, but I always wondered, did they want me for my Dartmouth degree, or did they want me because my last name was Danforth? I guess she's supposed to be somebody important. And it's like, girl, those are not real issues. Like, she's like, yes, I ran away from my money and my privilege, and I became a stripper. Hey, you know, sex work is real work. Good for you. But I don't understand her reasonings for wanting to run away from her money. Can't relate to, or I just simply don't give a fuck about the issues that rich people have. I don't care. You keep getting jobs. Oh no, poor you. Like, I don't feel bad for you at all. And she's like, oh, I'm a sinner. Please, Father, can you forgive me? So whenever this girl speaks, I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I really don't. But the priest, he's so funny to me because he obviously, you know, he's really attracted to her. So whenever she like comes to him for confession or she's talking to him, they're like having all this stuff go on. And so this one day she comes in for confession and she confesses all this stuff about her past, like her experiences at the strip club, and like she slept with that married man. And while she was confessing her sins to him, she was masturbating in the confessional. And then the priest goes over to the other side of the confessional and like confronts her, and then they bang on the altar of the church. Well, he goes down on her, but like banging is banging. This shit is so funny. Like every time he does something bad, he's like, oh, I need to pray, you know, I hope the Lord forgives me. And one of the lines, what does he say? He says, God won't punish me for just one taste, like before he goes down on the girl. And it's like, sir, who are you to decide what God may or may not punish you for?
Hey God, it's me again. So what had happened was she came over to my house, and then the next thing I knew, I had put the tip in. But it was just the tip. It was just a tip. So like, you think you can forgive me this one time, even though last time you had to forgive me because I went down on her? Pretty please. Alright. Thanks God. Knew you'd understand.
Okay, so I'm 52% in, and they've already banged at the confessional, on the altar, in the garden, in the rectory. It's really like Sisterhood of the Traveling Dick in this book. Wow. They definitely are getting around and getting it in. I really feel very ambivalent about this story because the way that the sex scenes are written is like hot, but I don't feel anything. Like, you know, you read something that's hot, like you should feel a little bit of something. You know, just a little bit. And I don't feel anything. And I think the reason I don't feel anything is because this is very like, it's very, I don't want to say rushed, but it's just like there's no tension. There's no anticipation. Like these characters, as soon as they feel any kind of desire, they immediately act on it. So there's no buildup. I've read a previous book by this author, Sierra Simone, and that book is called A Lesson in Thorns. And I thought that book was really hot for like a number of reasons. I kind of just think that the setup of that book is hot and stuff like that. But anyway, regardless of all that, there's this one character in A Lesson of Thorns, and he's also a priest. His name's Beckett, and I thought that he was so sexy. I was like obsessed with him. He was my favorite character in that whole book, even though he had a really small portion because he was a priest. And that book is about like all of these people, and they're like all in their mid-20s, and they kind of reconnect after being childhood friends. They reconnect, they're all living in this house, and they just are like weird. They decide to participate in like this ritual orgy thing. But I just feel like Beckett's character was very interesting because of how reserved and removed and how like guilty he felt, and how he was definitely like very serious about his abstinence, even though he was doing like a little bit of stuff. He was surrounding himself by a lot of like sexual depravity or whatever, and I just thought that was interesting. And I felt like that would have been something that could have been super interesting in this book if the priest Tyler was more like Beckett, if he was more able to abstain, at least for longer. I feel like it would have had a larger impact when him and the girl Poppy do finally bang. Every time he thinks about a sexual act to do, he does it. And then later on, he'll be like, oh, you know, I feel so guilty. Let me go pray about this. But it would be more interesting to me, at least reading it, if there was more tension of him maybe having impure thoughts, and then we see him like resisting them for at least a period of time, and then, you know, seeing him like break and give in to temptation. I feel like that would have been like way more compelling, and it would have been more hot for me to read about. But it's not hot because it's just like, you know, he's like, oh, I can't, I mustn't, but he does it anyway, immediately. Just like, I shouldn't do this thing as he's doing it. Like, you can't just be sitting here like, oh my God, you know, I shouldn't be eating coochie while you're going down on somebody. Like, it's too late to be having that kind of thought, you know? His internal conflict is not interesting because he's really not conflicted about it because he knows what he want to do and he's doing it anyway. So I just wish that maybe this was more of like a slow burn. Oh my God, Tyler is like so pathetic. What's wrong with this man? Oh my God. So like him and the lady sleep together. And which is like, you know, we all saw it coming. I mean, they've been doing all this other sexual stuff with each other. So they finally like did full on penetration. And then she left before he woke up. And he's like, oh my god, I can't believe I've broken my vow for a woman who wouldn't even stay for breakfast. I can't believe it. And like he was like crying in the shower. I'm sorry. Now he praying again for forgiveness. I bet you in the next chapter him and the lady are gonna bang again. This shit is just, I am too-ing. Like, yeah, this is an erotic romance, but the romance should be strong. Like, I should care about the romance, and the sex scenes should sell me on their actual genuine relationship, but it doesn't. And I don't feel any connection, chemistry. I don't understand why they like each other in any aspect, even when they have sex. Like, I mean, it's just the most generic porn dialogue sex that you could ever have. So I finished this book, and I have so many thoughts. And most of them aren't great. I didn't have fun reading this book. I'm really pissed off because I actually think that the book has like such an interesting concept, and there's so many parts of the book that feel really strong, but overall I just did not like this main relationship. I just thought it was so whack and pointless. So it's like, ugh, it just feels so idiotic that he is so passionately into her, because I didn't like her and I didn't find her compelling in any way, and they don't really have that many scenes where they're doing things together or talking to each other that don't involve them having sex. There's this one part where they do anal, and he uses like the sacred sacramental oils to do anal with her. Like, but I really don't like the girl in this book. I liked Tyler, and I think the reason I like Tyler is because, you know, we're in his head, so he just felt more compelling and more well-rounded. And I really liked his devotion to his role as a priest. Obviously, he was not like, you know, doing everything that he should be, because obviously he's breaking his vows and he's having sex and stuff, and like he's not supposed to be doing that. But I think that like his passion for his career and his church and like wanting to do all this stuff to help the community, like he feels really passionately about the church and about reforming the church and making it a better, safer place, and like revitalizing it and bringing more people into the church community. And I just felt like his passion for his work was like the most compelling aspect of the story, and his relationship with this girl just never felt like it was worth him destroying his whole life over it. Because I think I should give you guys like a little bit more backstory about Tyler. So Tyler, his family grew up really religious, and they were active in their church, I suppose. And his sister, she was abused for a number of years by the priest at whatever church they attended when they were all growing up. So she was abused for a number of years by this priest, and she never really confided in anyone about this, and she ended up taking her life. And in like her suicide note, she mentions like everything that happened and who did this and all that kind of stuff. So him and his family, they separate themselves from the church for a number of years, and then after Tyler goes away to college and he finishes college, he kind of feels like this call to the Lord or whatever, and he goes to seminary school. He becomes a priest. So his whole goal, right, is to make church like a safe place, a safe environment for young people to come to, and to feel cared for and everything like that, without that fear of, you know, something bad happening. He's trying to like repair the church's image in this community and everything like that. And I thought that that was very like important. Like his mission, his goals felt very important to me. The girl, she has this ex-boyfriend that's been trying to win her back, and the ex-boyfriend like leaks these pictures of them, which cost him his job as a priest, so he gets fired. And it's just like, it's not even, it don't even feel worth it. I mean, as a reader, it doesn't feel worth it. Obviously, at the end of the story, you know, the two go, they get to be happy together. But it's just like, it doesn't feel worth it to me as a reader, because I don't give a fuck about this lady. I don't give a fuck about their relationship. And there's this one moment that I felt like was so good. It was like, it was maybe like around the halfway point or something, where Tyler, you know, he's been sitting with this lady, he's been sleeping with her, they're doing all this super, you know, sacrilegious shit in the church, and he decides that he's going to go to his confessor and he's going to confess his sins and hopefully he'll feel better. And I thought that that was like such a pivotal moment, because Tyler, like I mentioned earlier in the video, like he spends so much time doing the wrong stuff and then being like, okay, well, I'm going to pray about it, and then he keeps doing the wrong stuff over and over and over again. So this moment when he goes to his confessor feels really important, because he's finally like, he wants to take responsibility for his actions or whatever. So he's going to repent to his confessor. Confessor will like give him something to do, which will help him like be absolved of his sins or whatever. And his confessor tells him, no, I will not allow you to confess to me, and I'm not going to absolve you, because I know you're going to go right back and keep sinning. So just, you know, do whatever you're doing and come back to me when you're really ready to stop sinning and you're ready to truly repent from the bottom of your soul, and you know that you're going to like change your ways. And I felt like that was such a pivotal and impactful moment. Like, it would have been so brilliant to me if this story was like Tyler having this very human lapse and, you know, having this feeling, this passion for this woman, and then realizing that, you know, his call to the Lord or his devotion to his church was more important than, you know, this worldly relationship that he was having with this lady. I felt like that would have been like such an iconic way for the book to end. But obviously it didn't end like that, and him and the lady end up together, and it's all, you know, woohoo, we're married and we're having hot sex at our wedding, and it's just like, who gives a fuck? Like, I feel like I didn't have all that much fun. I don't know what I'm gonna rate it, because I do feel like Tyler was a compelling character, and I do think that the sex scenes were written in like a sexy way, but I just did not care at all about this relationship, and I feel like the relationship is the weakest part of the whole book, and it's a romance, so that's like not a good thing. So yeah, I don't know, I didn't like it, I didn't have fun. But I did read this other thing. It's called There's for a Night by Katie Robert. You should read that. It's the beginning in a series, and it's a novella about this girl, and she hooks up with this prince and his bodyguard, and it's like polyamorous excellence. We love that for them. Anyway, yeah, I will see you all in my next video. My next video will probably be my Smutathon vlog, so yeah, stay tuned for that. I'll see you all soon. Bye, you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe.